Alrighty, good afternoon, beautiful people. Uh, Previous workout felt pretty good. Been seeing a couple more videos about just kind of like this idea of like flow and a flow state and being able to kind of move continuously. It's an interesting concept to me. Um, so what I kind of want to mess around with today is that exact concept, um, where it's not so much specific thought, tension, etc. It's just kind of doing what feels natural. Trying to be able to enter that flow state where, again, things just move without thought. That you can kind of coil, release, but it's not necessarily as structured. So, what I want to do is um, modify my intervals because what I'm looking to be able to do is at least like 15 minutes of kind of continuous movement, continuous holding. Um, but we'll see how it goes. I don't think we need 30 seconds of transition, maybe 10. So that's what 50 seconds times 20, that's 1,000 seconds. Sure, let's go with that. Um, so I think the first thing I'm going to start with is just to kind of get the thing going is just some like alternating overhead chops. All right, nothing complicated. All right, we're in a flow state. All right, maybe we walk a little bit, we turn. All right, I even got my flip-flops on because this is how casual it is as I smack myself in the leg, right? This is kind of the point. All right, and if we turn, admittedly, these are just kind of like two stale pipes I picked up from my local hardware store. Um, so I have no idea how much they weigh. I don't know. I don't even know if they weigh the same amount, but I do know they're heavy-ish. All right, so I know we just passed, I just felt my watch buzz, so that we just passed the first 40 seconds, right? Kind of working on some uppercut style stuff, and this is where I feel like flip-flops betray me a little bit. But right, we're working on some like undercuts. Nothing really specific. Right, I'm just kind of letting my body do its thing. And then again, we can kind of go into, oop, told you the flip-flops were going to betray me. All right, so instead of these uppercuts, we're going into some chops. And again, I'm really letting my feet be active in order to kind of get this and keep this rhythm going. Pretty sure it's been longer than 80 seconds, but all right, let's go into something pretty simple. All right. All right. So how about this? Let's just go back into some cross bodies. All right, just flashing low. So I think I talked about this last time I did this, where I almost want to think about, the person who literally digs holes all day, right? They're probably a more air quote functionally strong person than the person who only, squats, let's say. Again, not saying like a 500, 600, there's a lot of strong squats out there. But I think there's a bit of a terrifying nature to people who can literally do manual labor all day without injuring themselves and like can pace themselves accordingly. I remember a patient was telling me about they had a nephew, I think it was, who ended up on an electrical team, and part of their job was digging holes, and he couldn't move the next day because he was so muscularly sore, like head to toe. And he was young, so trying to prove himself, I'm sure. Um, um, so that kind of thing, where the air quote old heads might have been laughing at him, being like, "Oh, he's going to burn out. This guy's going to quit in 2 weeks because his body's going to break down because he's not giving it the time to recover." So my forearms are definitely starting to kind of fatigue out, but otherwise, right? The breathing feels good. I know I'm working, but it's not exhausting. All right, I feel like I could keep up this pace for a while. Uh, and I think there is this general discussion of like being a more of a slow twitch athlete as opposed to a fast twitch. And there's silos, and it's shades of gray as opposed to black and white. But that I may be more um, slow twitch up top, and maybe a little more fast twitch down below. That uh, like kettlebell swings, right? Kettlebell swings are kind of that combination of both power and endurance. So it's like, yeah, like my legs can do both, but I don't think I could do the equivalent of like med ball slams with my upper half. Eventually, I would like to get some med balls, classic, again, home gym stuff of I just want more space so I could do this. And then you get more space and you can do that thing. And then you're like, well, I want more space so I can do this next thing. And that it just kind of continues over and over and over again. Um, I have considered making a PVC wooden dummy because real wooden dummies are expensive as shit for this kind of exact purpose, where maybe I don't use a weapon per se, or a training weapon like this is, or could be. Um, but instead, I could use my hands and forearms to kind of go through this flow state, and again, emphasize duration over pure just like intervals. But all right, so let's see here. Can we go up slash, bum, 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 bum. So earlier, I was kind of letting both move at the same time. Right now I'm trying to separate it. Where the trail hand becomes the lead hand into these kind of uppercut type motions. Again, really letting my feet be active here. Some martial arts training thought is like, okay, I parry a strike, and because they're leading up, or that because I've struck their weapon or arm up, their arms are up, and so their midsection is now an available target. And that, right, we want to be able to make that kind of contact, and that trying to do it from back here may make not a whole lot of sense versus stepping into it. All right, so that is a bunch of uppercuts. So let's switch into some chops. And chop, chop. And again, trying to make the trail hand the leading hand. Chop, chop. Very good. Chop, 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 buddy, chop. It works better if you keep saying it too. All right, we can work into some thrusts. For myself, I have spent a couple years doing martial arts. Ooh, right? And so for myself, I feel better inclined to think about this as a kind of a form, kata, whatever you want to call it. But I think, like I said, overall, from like if I were to choose to do 1,000 of some movement, this would probably be it here. I know before I was looking at, this kind of down chop. We say this seems to be quite the forearm burner for me here, where I'm trying to kind of go up into this up block position. It's a lot of work on my wrist extensors and kind of pronation control. Because again, as I come up, like, sure, my shoulders are doing some work, but each forearm is doing its own. There we go. Lost my rhythm. Lost my rhythm again. The hell am I trying to do? Here we go. Oh, bitch. And again, it's a self-correcting issue to not hit yourself or your own weapon, implement, tool, whatever you want to call it, repeatedly. All right. How much time do we have left? All right, we still got a couple rounds to go. All right. So my shoulder, my left shoulder, with its own little issues, have been relatively crunchy. Doing that Eskrima style flow, and now it's not. That's always nice. Mr. Bones has decided to join us. Hello, sir. He has enjoyed our company very much since our return. That's right. What else? So did some wrist pronation and supination, working into some radial deviation now. We'll end up going into some ulnar deviation after. So again, I don't know how many moves I did, how many repetitions, but it was more so the challenge of continual movement for 15 or so minutes. Let's see, 1,000 over 60 is 50 times 20. All right, so there's yeah, I think it was 50 times 20. So 50 total seconds per round, 20 total rounds. So that's 1,000 seconds divided by 60 is 100 over 6, 50 over 3. So about 18 minutes worth of total work. Um, slash, 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 uppercut, slash, block, slash, uppercut, slash. So at least the way I feel like I had originally learned this, called this is Scream of Flow. It's kind of a interesting. It seems to be a double overhand on one side for me, and more of a block coming back the other way. So I wonder if I'm doing it right. So let's see here. Okay. So it definitely feels more natural to go into the up block. So it feels more natural to do like a down slash, but it feels more natural to do like an uppercut. So down, up, down, 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 up, up. We're done. Cool. That was enjoyable. Didn't take a whole lot of energy, but it did feel good to kind of just have that continual movement for that time. Alrighty. If you joined me today, great. If you did your own thing, great. You're just starting, looking for ideas, motivation, discipline, or a community to support you is what we're here to do. Help each other be a little better every day. So good job today. Keep working hard, and we will see you next time.